Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. I thought in today's video it'd be really fun if I went through and did a full face of makeup based around my recommendations for the Sephora Spring Sale event. So I've got my makeup bag here full of my favorite picks and recommendations, and I'm just gonna go through and apply them. If I feel like adding a bit more background information and why I like something, I'll let you know. That's kind of just the plan for today. So I have a look in mind. I wanted to play with a lot of those like orangey colors. I had mentioned the Picante blush, the Artist Couture palette, and do something around that. So I'm hoping that like my bright yellow shirt is gonna work with it, but we'll see. Let's just start with primers. Okay, so to start, I'm gonna go in with the Caudalie Beauty Elixir. That's just to freshen up my face. It's been a bit since I put moisturizer on. I wanna stay hydrated. Oh, it smells so good. Just smells like you're going to a spa or having a spa experience. I'm going in with the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer because I'm gonna get the moisture from the Caudalie Beauty Elixir, and then this is just gonna help to fill in my pores. I will mention that the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer is definitely on the dry side, which is why it works for my oily skin. But I do like to combat that dryness from the primer with hydrating products, so that's why I use the Caudalie Beauty Elixir. And then I'm gonna go on top with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I'm in the shade Too Light, and I'm gonna wait to blend that in with my foundation. So it's gonna look crazy for a second. I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty Easy Drop Blurring Skin Tint. I'm in the shade 3. This is probably one of my favorite discoveries for 2021, and it's kind of been a while since I last used this. I can't honestly recall. So when I was editing the video, I really felt like I had to do a video where I use this, and so today's that video. I'm going to start with a brush, and then I will use a sponge to kind of even it out. Yeah, as soon as I use this, I'm like, I know I love this one so much. Blends very easily, effortlessly. It's definitely, I would say, more for people who have oily skin. If you're very dry, I don't think you're gonna like this. I'd say it gives light to medium coverage, but you can definitely build this one up. And I do get good longevity with this. So if I do all my proper steps where I build up the coverage, lock it in with a concealer, and then powder, and then set it with a setting spray, I can get this to last for the majority of the day, and it'll still look pretty good. It doesn't separate when my oils start to come through, and that's where I'm talking about something lasting, even if it does become a little bit more glowy. I'm gonna add a tad more so you can just see how it builds up. But keep in mind, because I would say this is a bit of a drier formula, you want your base to be a little bit more on the hydrated side. I also do want to mention that where you live can also determine your base and how you set your foundation. So if I'm going somewhere down south where there's a lot more humidity, I'm gonna do different steps than what I would do now. I live in Canada, and even though we're in spring, it pretty much still feels a bit like winter. It's very dry out, so I need to make sure that my skin is very hydrated underneath. Whereas let's say I was in Mexico, I probably could just put the Timeless Smoother Primer down from Tarte and then this foundation, and I'm sure not long after I was outdoors, my oils would start to come through. So your environment will also determine your base and your foundations and how they look and wear throughout the day. Okay, I think that looks really good. I've really been into using a sponge again. I just go back and forth, but I've been finding that doing a combination of them, or some foundations work better with sponges than brushes, so I've been keeping a damp one close by so I can just kind of like make everything very seamless and go over any edges and blend it. It also works really nicely when you're dealing with a foundation that's a little bit more on the drier side, because this moisture will help to spread it out and disperse it, especially if it's clinging to any dry patches. I didn't talk about a concealer, so I'm just gonna go into the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Concealer. I'm gonna use my beauty blender, or my sponge. This is from Spectrum, but I really, really like it. It feels a little bit more dense than a beauty blender, but I kind of like that. Sometimes I find the beauty blenders a little bit too much on the light side and a little bit too porous, whereas the feel of this one feels very durable, but kind of stiff, but not too stiff. It's a very unique texture in terms of sponges. So I'm gonna bronze up using the Saie Sun Melt in light bronze. Talked about this, that if I'm not using the Rare Beauty one, I'm gonna be using this. I just used the Rare Beauty one all this week because it's in my little cart that I have beside me. You don't see. Then for blush, I'm gonna go into the Nudestix Picante blush. This is the Nudies Matte All Over Face blush color. This is the one, in particular, I meant this color. It's a very unique color. It looks intense, but you can really blend this out. I like my blush to be a little bit more potent. Others like just like a soft kiss of blush. I don't mind having brighter cheeks. Like, look at that color. It is so pretty. And I feel like it doesn't look that crazy. I think it's actually quite wearable, paired with the right kind of maybe outfit or eye. It's so gorgeous. I love it. I'm so glad they made it a part of their permanent collection. That is really great news, and that you can get it now wherever Nudestix is being sold. Okay, I didn't talk about a powder. I'm gonna go into the Rare Beauty powder and just kind of dust this all over my face, just using a bigger brush. For powder bronzer, I'm gonna go into the Patrick Ta bronzer here, and I'm gonna use the powder. I have the Statuesque combination. I did notice recently that a lot of the options, there might be the darkest shade available, but the lightest shade, so this one and their medium shade, were out of stock. I wonder if that's because of the Sephora sale and people just really loving it and wanting to buy it. And then I'm gonna go into the NARS Afterglow face palette and use what I would say this is kind of a complementary powder shade for the Picante blush, and just take a small amount of it. Now this is definitely a little bit more red undertone, whereas the Picante blush is more orange. I do wish this was a little bit more orangey and not so red. I don't think I've mixed them together, but I do like that. I do want to say this is very, very pigmented. For highlighter, we're gonna go into the Charlotte Tilbury Nudegasm, and I'm gonna do a combination of the kind of goldy one and the peachy pink one using a fan brush. Just going to wiggle it back and forth in the middle. Now I'm gonna quickly do my eyebrows. I'm gonna do a combination of the NYX Lift and Snatch, and then I'm gonna use the Kosas Brow Pop together. We will just fast forward to when I am done and my brows are on. Now I'm gonna play with the Artist Couture Supreme Bronze Palette. Oh, this definitely matches what I'm wearing. Now, what colors do I wanna do? Going to take Sunkissed, which is the very orange shade in this palette. Just place it all over the lid. Then I'm gonna go into Toasty, just with this fluffy brush, and focus it right on top. gonna keep it very bare on the bottom. So just taking my sponge and cleaning up this area right here. Doing the same on this side. I'm gonna go in the inner corner with sand right here. And just a bit here on the brow. Lock the brows in using the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. Then we'll hold off on the eyes for a minute. Sorry, my chair is so freaking creaky. You hear that? Okay. We'll hold off on the eyes for a minute. We'll go to the lips and, oh, we want to do mascara. Okay, we'll do mascara. I might come back to this palette in a minute and then we'll do lip and see if I need to maybe put on a little bit of a shimmer on the lid. I'm going to use a combination of the Spectrum Dark Matter Mascara and the Clarins Supra Lift and Curl. I really like this combination. I discovered it a couple days ago and I really liked it. Now the Spectrum mascara is really good for just defining each individual lash and making them longer, whereas the Clarins Supra Lift and Curl really does curl them, add volume, and kind of wisps them outwards, which is kind of a look I like to make my eye look a little larger. I also find the two build up together very nicely. They also didn't like crumble and transfer below. So both a very big win for me. Now I just need to touch up this eye, kind of went a little bit over with the mascara. Sometimes happens with my tiny eyes. For lips, we're gonna go into Merit and do the shade Cabo. I have been pretty much saving this for a look exactly like this. This is how I had imagined wearing this when I first swatched it. So if you didn't realize, I clearly love orange a lot. I think it looks really good on me, especially with my blue eyes, my skin undertone. It just seems to complement me. I like this a lot. The lip might be a little too much with the orange on the eyes and the cheek. You could probably use a more bronze shade on the lid, so we can go ahead and do that. I think the mascara is dry. So I'm gonna go on top with, I think this is the shade HBIC. I don't know what that stands for. I think that toned it down just enough. And then maybe we can deepen it up going into Baked, which is the darkest brown. So this is pretty much the completed look. I had a lot of fun sitting here playing with some of my top favorites that were from my Sephora sale recommendation video. Let me know if you shopped the sale, what you picked up. I'm so curious to see what you purchased. I'm definitely going to be doing a haul video, so stay tuned for that if you want to see what I got. Yeah, I really like this look. There's a reason I like these products. They all perform very, very well. Minimal effort required. They work well for my skin type, and I think the colors also just work well for my type of skin undertone. So you're probably gonna see a lot of orange. This might be some kind of variation of my signature summer look. I think the Supreme Bronze palette, the Picante blush, and the Merit Cabo shade are all gonna be ones that I'm gonna probably keep in my makeup bag and then rotate for every look. I might use one of the products just because I love them so much. The Cabo, the lip, I feel looks really nice, especially I think more with like a bronzy neutral look and like a cheek that's really not that intense, but I had to mix them all together and do it here first just to see, you know, a lot of orange, an extreme copious amount of orange, and I still like it. So we'll wrap it up here. I'm gonna go eat lunch and I hope you have a great day wherever you are. I will see you in my next one. Bye.